What's up guys, it's your favorite Kiwi coach. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're doing another client before and after video. Specifically, we're gonna be talking about if you're gonna be flattening this club shaft in transition. We're gonna talk about some of the torques that you're gonna have to apply, as well as why I think flattening in transition is so difficult. We're gonna do this by showing you before and after of one of our clients. I think it's gonna be a great video, so make sure to watch all the way till the end. Other than that, let's go do this thing. But before we get into the analysis, real quick, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you guys didn't know, YouTube does not pay the bills, and we got to pay them bills. So I want you guys to check out our membership site. We have over 130 videos of golf instruction. That's roughly like 50 plus hours of content on the site. We update it every single month. Again, it really supports us, continues to allow us to make these videos for you on YouTube, and you get access to all those videos and all the future videos as well. So if you're interested in that, make sure to check out the link down below. And now let's get into that analysis. So like I said in the intro, this video we're specifically talking about this flattening motion in transition and kind of what torques you're going to have to use to control it and why it's so difficult to do. But also I do want to highlight the differences between the before and after, because I know you guys really love that part as well. So the first part of the video, we will be taking a look at those before and afters really quickly, and then we're going to get into the main point of the video. So let's get into those before and afters. All right, so the first before and after is really going to be the club shaft movement from position 3 to position 4. Now to help highlight this, I'm going to start drawing some lines on the club shaft on the before swing, and what you're going to notice here is from position 3, as he moves his way to position 4, we're going to see that the club shaft starts to kind of move in this steepening fashion, right? Which is going to get this client into a cross the line position at the top of the swing, right? This is something I think a lot of you guys do. So really the direction of torque that he's applying is more so kind of towards the golf ball as opposed to away from the golf ball, which again is more so my preference. So if you want to get rid of that cross the line, one of the things you have to think about is really where are you directing the torque or that twisting motion towards? If you're directing it towards the golf ball, you're probably going to be across the line. Now if we go take a look at the after swing over here and I go draw this same kind of line on the club shaft, we're going to see that he has a little bit different motion. Now, from this first click right here, we are seeing that the club shaft is subtly starting to steepen. However, as he starts to kind of move further past that, now we're seeing the club shaft, if anything, is kind of staying the same. And then as we start to approach the top of the swing, it's pretty much stayed the same. So yes, there's a little bit of a steepening motion in there, which again is not my particular preference. However, his starting point in the after swing at position 3 was maybe a little flat as well. So he kind of steepened it into the perfect position. However, in the lesson, we're not going to be perfect on the first go round. So again, we weren't really too worried about that. But again, the major difference again is going to be this top of swing position right here. Now, as we start to go into transition, because the client has a different top of swing position, we will see a much different downswing motion. And let me kind of highlight that first by taking a look at the before swing. So because he's crossed to the top, what this client is going to have to now do is he's going to have to flatten the club shaft, right? Because if he doesn't flatten the club shaft and he comes down and tries to hit the golf ball, he's probably going to hit the golf ball way off to the left, right? It's going to be that classic here, down into the golf ball. You probably don't want to do that. So he's being a good player here and he's trying to flatten this club shaft. And as you can see, as we get down to roughly right around position 5, we've seen that the club shaft has flattened quite a lot. Now, if we go take a look at the after swing, as we start to kind of go down, we're now going to see that the club shaft is actually falling to position 5 here. So we're not seeing any of this flattening motion anymore, which again, if you guys know, that is really my preference. If you get into the correct top of swing, you don't need to flatten, right? Because the club shaft is already in the correct spot. You just got to lower that thing down. It makes it, in my opinion, a whole lot easier to do. So again, that's another really big difference between the before and after. Now at this position 5, some other noticeable difference is going to be the hand position, right? So if we take a look at the before, or sorry, the after, it's a little bit more towards the right pec. If we take a look at the before, it's more towards the left pec, right? So the hands have moved a lot more out towards the golf ball. That's also something that we worked on. Also, if you kind of take a look at really the knee line here, we're going to see that he's definitely gotten a lot less rotation versus the before. Those are some kind of side notes of the differences right there at P5. All right, and then as we start to move from P5 to P6, in the before swing, he's actually doing something which is very common for people who are across the line at the top, and he's continuing to kind of flatten the club shaft here, which is going to start to get him underneath the plane as he starts to approach the golf ball. And then in this after swing, we're going to see that he's actually continuing to lower for 1 second here, and then now he actually starts to kind of steepen the club, and the club is going to be a lot more on top of the plane as it approaches the golf ball. So those are kind of some of the highlights in terms of the differences between the two swing. But now let's get into the main point of the video and what you guys all want to watch, and that's going to be what type of torques you have to do if you are going to want to flatten that club shaft. One of the torques you're going to have to actually start applying is going to be a steepening torque. And really kind of the timing of when you do it and the amount of power that you apply to that torque is so important. Because again, when you are cross the line at the top and you do start to flatten it, most likely you have to get the club shaft to move, quite a bit of distance to get into the proper place. So because you're moving it quite a bit of distance in a short period of time, the club head has some velocity, right? It's moving relatively fast. That's going to take a pretty big amount of power in terms of that steepening torque to stop that thing from continuing to go and so it doesn't move below the hands and behind the hands. However, for most of you guys out there, I don't see you having that capability of actually applying that torque, and you do tend to get that continuing of flattening motion, and you do start to get kind of underneath the plane like this client and really struggle with your starting line because of that. So if you do want to get across the line at the top and you do want to flatten the club shaft in transition, you got to start thinking about how much power do I need to apply to that steepening torque, and kind of when am I doing it, right? When am I starting? When am I getting to that full power? When am I stopping that steepening motion? All that kind of has to come into fact when you are actually trying to flatten the club shaft. And if you guys aren't kind of getting the point right here, the reason why I don't personally like to see the club shaft flattening in transition is because my clients don't have to think about that, right? All they have to think about is just lowering that club, and then when do they start to steepen the club towards the ball. So it takes out one of those variables, and I think it makes it a whole lot easier to do. Now the last thing I want to talk about here, and this is actually something I find really interesting, and it's this concept of a low rate of closure. Now I'm sure you've heard on YouTube, if you shallow the club, you're gonna automatically have this low rate of closure. So that's it for you guys on YouTube. If you guys want to watch the whole video, make sure to sign up for our membership site. Again, the membership site, Kiwi Golf Japan, is the sponsor of this video. If you guys want to support this channel, allow us to continue making videos for you guys and get access to over 130 videos that we update every single month, make sure to check that link down below. Other than that, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.